Anand Ranganathan, Mr. Ripun Bora says, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, Mr. Ripun Bora says, transparency of Adani in West Bengal, that is why is acceptable there. But when it comes to Narendra Modi government, then it's not transparent and it is full of holes.
Getting a one contract in TMC rule state, it does not mean that we should not protest against Adani. We should not protest against.
Okay, so you should protest also. You should protest also, and you should do business with him also. Well, I don't understand that, but if you think the public understands that, fair point. आपकी मर्जी है, boss. आपकी मर्जी है. In Bengal, it is acceptable. In Delhi, it is not. Dr. Anand Ranganathan.
This is the version of the BJP. This is the version of the BJP.
Okay, Dr. Anand Ranganathan.
Good evening, Navika. I've been waiting very patiently for my turn, so please, I beg the indulgence of my fellow panelists to just give me a couple of minutes. But before I start on the thesis of what I want to say, especially on the topic of the debate, Navika, which is twofold, Veer Savarkar and Smriti Irani, can I please take 30 seconds before I begin on the main thesis, because I need to address this very strange, repeated, specious attack on the Prime Minister's level of education by Aam Aadmi Party. We've seen it, Kejriwal doing it repeatedly in the past week, and we've seen the AAP spokesperson doing it tonight. I think it's very specious because what are you trying to say here? Anna Hazare was 6th class fail. He was a street urchin. Did his foresight in any way, was it limited by his lack of education? Our first education minister, Maulana Azad, didn't even go to school. And the greatest decision by any Indian politician, living or dead, since independence, is the midday meal scheme. The greatest scheme by an Indian ever. Every day, 130 million school kids, Indian kids, are fed. They are healthy, they go to school. You know who started it? The person who didn't even go to school, K. Kamraj. So can we stop being specious and attacking the Prime Minister? You can attack him on any other matter you want. But to belittle someone on his lack of education or level of education really tells your class, not that person's class. Now can I come to the other two issues? Number one, Navika, this repeated mocking of Veer Savarkar by the petulant, there's no other word for it, Rahul Gandhi, is honestly getting to be too repetitive and boring. And talking of apologies, Motilal Nehru had to plead and grovel before the Viceroy to let his son Jawaharlal Nehru off from Nabha jail, as he couldn't stand the harshness of it. Savarkar, in contrast, was in solitary for 6 months. यहाँ तो चाचा 2 हफ्तों में पापा बचा लो कहने लगे. And Navika, let's be very honest here. Distorted histories leave wounds that both medicine and time cannot heal. And very few have been distorted more than Savarkar's. Now there is no doubt that Savarkar was a fearless freedom fighter before he was incarcerated in Kalapani, and that he suffered terribly there, terribly. Prolonged spells of solitary confinements and brutal torture. So I personally am ambivalent towards his mercy petitions that were written at times pleading only for his release, as well as at other times for release of all political prisoners. That said, it is also a fact that he had written multiple mercy petitions beginning 1911 by the time Gandhi advised Savarkar's brother that Savarkar should write another mercy petition in 1920, and also wrote an appeal to the British to release Savarkar. Another fact that these chauthi failed ignorance mocking Savarkar ignore is that the co-founder of the Communist Party of India, Dange, also wrote mercy petitions to the British, and unlike Savarkar, he wasn't even thrown in solitary for a day, leave alone months. Bismil and Ashfaqullah Khan, great freedom fighters, also wrote mercy petitions. Were they traitors? Would you mock them? There is also the fact that once released, Savarkar was also against the Quit India movement, but then so were Rajaji and Ambedkar, who said, and I quote, "The Quit India movement is both irresponsible and insane, showing bankruptcy of statesmanship." Would you mock and ridicule Ambedkar now? Number two, just a minute.
Can I come in now, please, Navika?
Can I please finish? I did not interrupt anyone because I want to talk about the other topic here, which is of Smriti Irani. Just 30 seconds. Navika, I wholeheartedly condemn the shockingly misogynistic abuses hurled at Ms. Smriti Irani by the Congress. But the truth is that when it comes to misogyny of the Congress, my cup runneth over. There is Digvijay Singh, who addressed his own compatriot Ms. Natarajan as 100% tunch mal. There is Abhijit Mukherjee, who called protesting women as dented and painted. There is Shri Prakash Jaiswal, who said, as time passes, women get old and become not as fun as they used to be. And frankly, ever since Smriti Irani defeated Rahul Gandhi in Amethi, she has borne the brunt of such attacks. There is Jaideep Kawade, who said Smriti Irani wears a big bindi on her forehead, and when a woman changes her husband frequently, the size of a bindi keeps growing. There is Shashank Bhargava, who says Priti roams around with a lot of bangles in her hand, and I request her to give the Prime Minister her bangles and whatever else he wants to, so that she will roll back the fuel price hike. There is Neelamani Sen, who says Priti Irani was the second wife of Prime Minister. There is Ajay Rai, who says Priti Irani
let's not repeat all of these. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, I mean, any woman and any working woman having to go through all of this is just so unfair that I just hope that somebody in the Congress even notices some of these statements, because frankly they are obnoxious and unacceptable, and it would be unacceptable whichever field these women have to bear these statements, wherever they come from, whichever political party, whichever family, whichever profession. These are unacceptable comments that are made, not just for a minister but for many other people. But Mr.